Welcome to another episode on how to break into tech. Today, how to break into Shakers. So we have Claudia Fernández that is joining us today and is helping us to navigate and survive the difficult world of interviews. So thank you so much again for joining us. And before we go into in depth into the interview, I would love to know more about Shakers, about yourself, and about your role.
Hello, Pilar, and hi, everyone. I'm very excited to be here.
So are we.
Thank you. As you've said, I work at Shakers. I am currently the head of people and culture at Shakers. We are a startup. We began 4 years ago. We are a Spanish startup. And Shakers, it's a marketplace where freelancers, tech freelancers, connect with their final client, with a company, thanks to Shakers. So we have AI integrated. We've been growing these 4 years. A lot. We are growing in the international market. Very exciting moments for us. We are currently 70 people in the team.
Wow, and 70 already.
Yeah. We expect to grow during this year and the next one up to 100 more or less.
Wow.
And then keep growing.
But that's amazing.
Until we touch the sky.
Well, first of all, congratulations. And what does a head of talent do at Shakers? Because you have seen Shakers grow so much.
Yeah, so I actually joined Shakers 3 years ago, more or less.
Okay.
So I joined
at the very beginning.
Employee number 10.
Wow.
Yeah, the very beginning. I've seen the whole journey and how we've grown. It's been amazing years and an adventure. So ahead of people at Shakers, for us, the culture is really, really important.
Okay.
Is the DNA of Shakers, our values, how people behavior is a competitive advantage for us. So our main role as the people and culture team is to maintain the culture and ensure that the experience of the employees at Shakers is great, right? So the experience of the employees, it starts during the hiring process.
Yeah, exactly.
When you are doing interviews, if you are a candidate and you've post your CV to you've applied and you've posted your CV to the company, there is where the employee experience starts.
Yeah, I absolutely agree.
Candidate experience.
And companies do not do a good job. I'm generalizing, but there are some cases that they don't take care of the employee in that process.
For sure, yeah, 100%. So from the beginning, from the employee experience, then the hiring process, when you join to the company, the whole onboarding process, then your journey during your life at Shakers, how are the opportunities to grow.
Yeah, and the reward system.
The reward system as well, yeah. So it's our responsibility is to maintain the culture and the values in every point of the journey of the employees at Shakers, and ensure that they are happy, that they
want to keep growing, that they have opportunities.
Yeah.
And the meritocracy as well, right? That
sure,
the good job is rewarded.
Sure. Okay. We actually do every 3 months an evaluation. So we try to be very objective when we set goals, and then when we see the results.
The performance reviews.
Yeah, and then if you have one bonus or another bonus, it's because we are being objective and we know what we are actually rewarding.
That's amazing. Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
I've got a question before we move into the other category. I've got a question about how were your first years in job hunting? So speaking to early graduates or young professionals that are willing to change careers, how were your first moments?
Yeah, so in one word, I would say risky. Yeah. That it's actually one of our values at Shakers.
Okay.
Because when I finished my degree, I studied psychology in Madrid. And when I finished my degree, I decided to move to London and explore. Okay. So I didn't have any job opportunity yet. I moved to London and I said, okay, I moved in the month of September. I gave myself 3 months up to December, and I started doing job hunting. It wasn't easy because I didn't really know anyone there in London, and I didn't really know what do I wanted to do. I had my background in psychology. I knew that I wanted to enter in the business market, but not that much. So what I did was using a lot of LinkedIn and asking people for a coffee. So I started asking people. Well, my father is a great mentor, so he was like, "You should work at a startup. You are going to love it.
You're going to learn a lot.
You are 100% a startup." So I said, "Okay, let's try." He knows me a lot, very well, so maybe he's right. And I started searching people from my circle who worked at a startup.
So you started building a network, which is one of the things that we teach in our courses.
100%. Yeah. And actually, it's not easy. So maybe you have just to ask for a coffee for someone that is not going to help you, but maybe you take a coffee with someone else that knows someone that is going to connect, or someone that recommends you to go to an event. And there's one person that recommended me to do an online course that was actually very cheap. It was from a kind of an online institute that's called the Interaction Design Foundation. And I said, okay, I'm going to do this course. I have 3 months in London. During my 10 or 12 hours a day that I can be active, I'm just trying to make new contacts. So let's do this course. And thanks of this course, I did one interview, and they said, wow, you have like a great mix of different skills that are perfect for us. And actually, I entered in a startup that it was really similar at what Shakers today. So it's very important, your first job, because it's the first step of your way. And it's, you can change, and you are going to move, and you're going to evolve during your professional career. But the first step is very important. So you have to be as well very strict. And you have to be sure that you want to take that opportunity.
And the opportunity based on where am I going to learn the most, where are the best people, who am I learning from. And what you're saying is very interesting, because what we are very keen to do, and what we always say at Gogotechy, is the most important thing is to be brave and take every single opportunity while you're building a network. So you probably in your early years do not know where that coffee or that course is going to take you, but it will take you somewhere.
For sure. I remember that this guy that recommended me this course, he told me, hey, we are doing an event in a couple of days. You can join us. And I went to that event, and I was amazed. Like, why am I here? I mean, there was like so many interesting people.
But the thing is that you said yes. So that's
and people really, people is happy to help. So if you ask for help, you are going to receive something 100%.
100%. There's always like a very interesting metric, because nothing happens while sitting on the sofa. So you need to be out there all the time. And I always say the rule that, for example, when I was graduating for the MBA before getting hired by Google, I think I wrote to 60 companies, meaning 60 people. I got answers from 20. I got in 10 selection processes, and I got 2 offers. So, the ratio is pretty high, and nothing is going to happen while staying at home.
And it's all about numbers.
100%. Okay, moving into the hiring process and AI. In this new era, how do you think AI is reshaping the job market, particularly in terms of the roles in demand, because that probably has changed also a lot? How companies are hiring through AI, and how should we adapt the job hunting strategies with the AI era?
Great. So, interesting question.
There are plenty of, they're like 3 in 1.
So, all the creative roles are going to be as well very important. The manufacturing roles are going to come back again because we are going to need people who can be able
Do
to
things
do
with
things,
hands, yeah.
and manipulate things. And it's going to be very important to be able to work with AI. So all of us have to understand what AI tools are now in the market, and it's something that we have to keep
Nurturing,
learning.
yeah.
And it's a lot about curiosity. Like every week, there's something new in AI. So
Yeah, it's impossible to keep track on that.
Yeah, but it's impossible. But the market is going to demand that.
Yeah.
So we have to always book a part of our week to understand what's happening in AI, right?
Yeah.
So we have to be able to work with different AI tools, and at the same time, we have to be able to create AI agents. At Shakers, we've done last week in our website a hackathon to create our own AI agent.
Yeah.
So now if you go to an interview and you are able to work with AI tools or create your own AI agent, you are going to be better than other candidates. So we don't know what's going to be the actual role of the future, what we are going to hire in 5 years, but we know that that role is going to be a mix between AI and human, right?
Yeah.
So I think that we have to be updated in that sense. And
No,
that's
100%.
very, very important. And then you asked as well about AI in the hiring process.
Yeah.
So as a candidate, I think that you should use AI to shape your CV.
Yeah, 100%. But it's not going to get you hired.
It's not going to get you hired, but it's going to help you to have a good CV. When I started my job hunting that you've asked before, I didn't know what to put in my CV.
It was probably one of the hardest tasks to do, also because we didn't have experience.
We didn't have experience. We didn't know what to put. We didn't know how to design the CV.
Absolutely.
It was very hard. And now that's something that you've already have, and you're going to find a great design in the internet, and you're going to find with AI a lot of information that you're going to be able to put on your CV and things about you that you didn't even know
how to communicate
you have,
well.
or you don't know how to communicate, and AI is going to help you, right? So use AI, and as well use AI to talk with AI to understand what do you actually want.
Yeah.
Like maybe you can talk with GPT and say, hey, I really enjoy startups. So what different roles can I find at a startup? What skills do I need to work at a startup? Okay, give me a list of the 50 best startups that are currently in Spain. And it's going to help you to shape the way to find a great to apply.
Yeah.
And then let's see if you're going to get that job, right? But you have to apply well. It's not about just going to LinkedIn and start sending the CV to all the companies.
It's a mutual work between AI and your human capabilities that is gonna get you hired. But great. In terms of, tell us about the hiring process, because from what I know, you were in the process of designing the whole hiring process. What was important for you, and how did you end up designing it?
So we had a hiring process early in Shakers, but we had to redesign because we understood that we were in a point where we had to hire a lot of people in a very short period of time.
Yeah.
So we had to be more efficient, and we had to make sure that these people that we were hiring were going to be good at Shakers, were going to be aligned with our culture, and they were going to stay with us for a long period of time, right? The turnover in Shakers is actually very low, and that's something that makes us very proud, very happy, and very proud.
Which doesn't usually happen in the startup and scale-up world. So that's incredible.
Yeah, because we actually work in a very fast-paced environment, and
it's not for everybody. Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah.
So once we had 20, 30 people in the team, and we understood that it was a moment to jump into more professional processes, we said, okay, let's see what do we have inside. Let's see what has worked up to now, right? So we started looking for different patterns that were actually repeated in our team. For example, we had a lot of athletics at the team, and we said, okay, let's describe these kind of people. They are curious, they are hard workers, they like sports,
ambitious, they're proactive.
Proactive. So we said, okay, let's try to find people that have similar skills than the one that we already have in Shakers, because they are the ones that are actually working, right? We are talking about skills. So we want to have a diverse team
Set of skills, yeah.
and a diverse set of skills and different people, but we have to share something similar.
Yeah,
because
no,
of
and
culture and because the way we are working. And now we know that an athletic is happy to work very hard, and we need people who is okay with hard working.
I absolutely
So everything
agree.
it starts being
That is
connected.
driven by, by being better and learning and, and being proactive. Yeah.
Yeah. So once we've had these different skill sets that we wanted to evaluate in our candidates in the interview process, we created some scorecards.
Okay.
And we have 4 different interviews. Okay. In these 4 different interviews, every interviewer has to fill the scorecard
Okay.
and punctuate between 1 to 5 the scorecard.
5 being strongly hired and 1 not hired.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And at the end of the interview process, we put all the scorecards together and we see the punctuation of each candidate.
Okay.
And as we evaluate the same things, the same skills, it's very easy to see if someone is very good at or something, or if suddenly you've evaluated the cultural fit very good, but your colleague is actually not that sure with the cultural fit. So the conversation that you have with the hiring manager and the rest of the team when we are going to decide if we are going to hire someone, it's very easy when you have data of the interviews, right? So
and a real process behind the scenes that everyone is testing different qualities.
Yeah, sure. So there are 4 different interviews, and each of the interview we try to evaluate as well something different. For example, the first interview is a cultural fit interview, and the people of culture and people and culture team is the one that is doing their interviews. The second meeting is a technical skills.
Okay.
And we actually send a case study to the candidates, and they come to Shakers to our office to present and see how they've worked during 3 or 4 days with the case study. The third interview, we call it team alignment.
Okay.
And normally one of the founders and someone else of the team enter in this interview to understand if the candidate has understood the role at Shakers, our culture, the company, and if they are aligned with what
with your values.
Yeah,
as
and
well.
with their values. And then the fourth and final interview is a quick chat with Hector, that it's our CEO at Shakers.
Okay. Yeah, amazing. I think between the cultural fit, testing the technical skills, it's very similar to what Google Process had in terms of making sure that candidate, you were not only hiring experience and technical skills, but you were hiring, how they manage the team dynamics, what their personality is, if they're like driven people. And I think it's a very complete overview in the process and very important. So well done. Looking back, where do you think candidates should turn for solid interview prep?
So, of course, every candidate has to know and search about the company when they are going to do the first interview, and you have to find information about the company, not just when you know that you are going to be interviewed. You have to find info about the company when you are actually sending your CV and applying, because you never know if you are suddenly going to receive a phone call of someone from the company and is going to tell you, hey, how are you? I'm Claudia from Shakers. Thank you for applying to this.
What are your motivations? And then they go blank.
What do you like Shakers? And suddenly people answer, I apologize, I don't remember who you are. And it's like,
That's
you have to
yeah.
understand about the company before they call you. So when you are applying, try to see who they are, where they are based, or something. I mean, you have to know something.
Yeah,
It's
you have to know why you are applying to that company and to that role specifically. In the latest podcast, we talked about that as well with Alejandro, that worked for Meta and Amazon, and we had a great conversation about, when we ask in an interview why Shakers in this case, why Google or why TikTok in my case, and the answer is generic and it could
Yeah.
fit in any other tech
Yeah.
company. For me, is a no-go, because that means
Sure.
that you haven't thought
Yeah.
enough about why you would be a good fit, not only into the company's values, but in the
Something that we value a lot, and is that they show that they are very hard worker.
yeah. Hardworking for me is something that in my career has been something that is super obvious. I never thought that you could go anywhere without being a hardworking person, and that hardworking attitude starts from the very beginning. But a tip that I would give to the people is that it's very uncommon.
Yeah, it is.
So if you show that attitude, it's probably going to make you stand out, because
Yeah.
I mean, the percentage of people not committed to the role, not committed to the company when you're interviewing, it blew my mind back
Yeah.
in the days when I was interviewing, right?
Yeah, it sounds obvious, and I agree with you that for me it was something like, of course, I have to work hard, but if you think about it, the first years of your work experience are very, very important, and it's actually when you normally don't have a lot of responsibilities.
Yeah, and you're shaping your career
Yeah.
and you're learning.
So you have a lot of time to work and to show that you want to work hard and be committed with the company. And if someone needs help, you can stay there for half an hour more because your colleague needs help or whatever. Because maybe when you get older, you don't have that much time. So if you can put that effort during the first years, it's going to be a game changer for sure.
Absolutely. The first years of your career are going to reshape what's going to happen after. And I always say, showing that you're not caring is very easy to see. So people think that, but for us, when we're interviewing, is super obvious. And something that for me is key is that those 5 minutes at the end of the interview that we have a course on, do not forget to ask questions as part of our nail methodology. Those questions for me are key to understand how committed that person is and how hardworking that person is. And if someone comes up with the first question being, am I going to have time to do remote working?
Yeah.
For me, it's okay, keep going with your questions. Or can I work from Bali? I got that question once.
Oh,
like,
really?
I mean, what do you mean? Like, if you're going to go to Bali, we're in the middle of COVID, you can go to Bali, but don't ask me that because you're leaving me.
Is that the most important thing of the interview? Then
Exactly. Or how much am I going to get paid? I understand paying is very important, but those are the questions that you speak or either with HR or when you know that you have gotten the offer. During the process, it just shows what your priorities are. And I don't want anybody that their priorities are just flexibility and role play.
And actually,
payroll.
many of those questions, you already have the answer in the job description. You might have the salary range. You can also have some information about the flexibility that the company is going to offer you. So if you ask it again, it's like...
Yeah. So it's very obvious when you're not committed to the role. Let's move into the standing out questions. This is very helpful for early graduates and young professionals because, what AI also gives you most of the times are very generic questions. But when we're trying to deep dive and test different skills, we would love to know what are the 2-3 questions that, that you really like doing because for you are important.
Yeah, so we ask questions about concrete situations of your...
So behavioral questions.
Behavioral questions, yeah. So we're going to ask, for example, give me an example of a situation where you had to work very hard to achieve something. It can be in a professional or in a personal way. I mean, maybe you had to work very hard sometime because
in your career, because
answers about your professional experience, because maybe you don't even have this professional experience. It's just to understand how you usually behave in these kind of situations.
if you have the skill,
Yeah. Or give me an example of a situation where you failed, an example of a failure.
And what was the outcome?
Yeah. We want to see we don't mind what was actually the failure. We want to understand how you react, what did you do to fail, and how you passed away that failure. So a lot of situational questions, behavioral questions, as you've said, and then we, as a junior, we try to understand about your hobbies. What do you like to do?
On the personal side as well.
we also enjoy the personal side. So we ask a lot about what you do in your free time. It's not, the thing with the interviews is not about doing complex questions. I would say it's more about answering what they are actually asking to you and
100%.
answering well. We like people who is honest, who is natural, and who is actually answering, being 100% honest. So listen to the question, and if you have a concrete example, just tell it. Give a detail, and give a detailed answer with the question that they've asked. And that's all. I mean,
and that's what is going to make you stand out as well. Because, for example, when you're for very early junior positions, if you don't have experience enough, we always say that, if they ask you, tell me about a situation where you showed that you have challenging mindset, you could go for a half marathon. I don't, for those junior positions, I don't really care if it's something professional, but tell me something that shows that you're driven. So
I'm going to just add one thing, and is that we all of us have defects, and we have to improve many things of ourselves, and that's something that the companies knows. So
and that happens a lot. Like, people apply to many roles without even considering if they fit to their skills, and then they go into the role. They spend like 1 year obviously not being happy, and also it's not only about not being happy. It's also something that I always say to my students, that it's very difficult for you to be good and to become brilliant in something that you hate doing. And for me, that's essential. So for me, a tip is like self-awareness, get to know yourself, get to know where your skills are, and then applying those skill sets.
And you're going to learn in the way.
Exactly.
Take your time and
exactly. 100% agree. Okay, so for you, what were common mistakes that caused others to fall short? For you, what are the no-goes? Like a max red flag.
So, of course, we've said this before, not knowing anything about the company. No. It's a complete red flag for me. And I would say if an interviewer asks you questions, are you constantly answer something different? That's as well a red flag. Because sometimes you've prepared your interview and you have things that you know that you want to tell the interviewer, and you are just telling your story and you are not listening to the question. So just make sure that you are listening and that you answer what they are asking to you, instead of just
and you're confirming the objective of the question and trying to understand what they're trying to test as well. Okay, good. So in terms of advice for candidates, what would be a good advice for their CV?
I would say use AI, as we've said, and try to show the impact that you have in previous experiences.
Quantifying the achievements.
It can be at uni. For example, I've organized the graduation for 200 students. It's like, okay, I can see the impact, what you've done. So use KPIs, use numbers, show the impact. And I would say don't don't write the very long CV if you don't have that much experience.
Absolutely.
Try to be direct and
Yeah.
straightforward. What have you done?
Concise. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I absolutely agree. And in terms, for me, like a good CV makes a difference when you are not describing what you're doing, you're telling me what you have achieved. So I received a lot of applications for sales positions, and then it was like sales director, and it's like, yeah, but I want to know growth. I want to know revenue. I want to know what type of clients you managed. I want to know the impact.
Yeah.
So for me, a CV that has not that info, for me, is a no-go.
Yeah, and if you have previous experience, if you just in one line explain the company where you've worked before, if it's a startup or it's a tech company or it's in marketing and advertising, it's good if you put it in the CV, because if you are, for example, applying to a technology company for B2B sales, if your previous experience is as well in a tech company, it's going to be a plus.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
if you can
use
give
AI,
information,
but think you as well. Don't let AI take the whole journey, because you need to make sure that that you take those things into consideration. Okay, so my last part of the interview. What's something people don't usually know about working at Shakers?
I think that we post a lot of content in social media. If you go to our LinkedIn or Instagram, there is a lot of content, and you can see that the culture is great, but actually until you don't come and see us, you don't really believe and you don't really feel the culture that we have, the communication, how everyone is themselves. People can failure, people can be themselves, and that's great, because we've created a very natural environment,
and
genuine environment, and that's great, because you can tell where do you want to go, what are your goals, where do you want to grow, and we're going to listen, and it's going to be okay if you want to grow in one direction instead of in another direction. If you want to have a personal I don't know, maybe you have a personal goal and it's going to take you time, or for example, I want to be a mom, and I've said that I want to be a mom of plenty of children, and that's something that they know, right? So we don't have to hide things.
Yeah, and there's a lot of, from what you're saying, there's a lot of respect on each one's professional and personal growth, no? Directions, depending on the direction they want to take. That's great. Well, apply to Shakers. Okay, one question that I have, we have a course as well at Gogotechy that defines, big corporation or startup scale up. And from what you have been telling me, and obviously being the head of people at Shakers, I know what you're going to say. So tell me a little bit, if I would be an early graduate or young professional, what's the main reason why you would choose startup or a scale up?
I worked at both, and I think that it's great to taste both of different cultures and type of work. But working at a startup, it's like doing a master.
Yeah.
100%, because you are going to be able to touch different things from the same company. You are going to be able to understand how the whole company works, and you're going to be able to see the impact of different areas, marketing, business, product.
Yeah, it's a 360 degrees.
Yeah, so you're going to have very 360 overview. And in a big corporate, you are only going to do one small thing of a department that it's part of a bigger department, and it's part of a huge department that then is part of a company, right?
Yeah.
So I think that the learning that you can have at a startup is bigger, as well as the
growth opportunities,
and the opportunities.
100%. For me, in the session that we have, in the course that we have, and we explain the characteristics between one another, obviously there is no right or wrong choice. I've been doing like big corporations for a very long time, but it is true that the impact that you have in a startup and a scale up is very measurable. Also, if you don't have an impact, it's very visible as well. So, and you need to be a type of people.
Yeah.
It's a matter of a personality. You need to like rock and roll. You need to like adrenaline. You need to like wearing different hats. So it's also aligning it with personality and values.
And there's people that think that working at a startup is great. You have a lot of fun. You're going to have a lot of impact. But when they actually try, they discover that is not what they were looking for.
Yeah.
Because it's not about fun, and it's not only about having impact. It's more about being flexible, working very hard, being able to adapt yourself, as you said, wearing different hats. And not everyone it's okay with this.
And it's okay not to be wanting to enter that world, but you need to know. So we speak a lot about that because it's the first question that a lot of early graduates do. Like, do I go to a startup or do I go to big corp? And it's nice sometimes to have the stamp and the stability and the structure of a big corp. But in my case, I would also, if you like rock and roll and if you like to create impact, I would definitely look into the startup and scale up ecosystem, which is something that, I mean, it has been a boom for the last 10 years because when I graduated, we didn't have this ecosystem that was so attractive, right? So thank you so much. I'm very happy that you were here and your insights were incredible.